Hello everyone and welcome to Final IT. In today's video we're going to be looking at installing Windows Server 2016, which is a common server operating system used in businesses today. These machines can be helpful in setting up domains, running DNS servers, or setting up advanced storage server options. A video that might be good to watch before this one would be our video on setting up VM Workstation, which we will use for setting up this VM for install. You can download the ISO that's needed to install Windows Server at their web evaluation website. A link to this will be found in the description. It should take you straight to the Windows Server 2016 section, and you'll want to make sure we leave the ISO option selected and click Continue. You can fill out your details here. They're not too strict about the company information, and then select Continue to be taken to the ISO download. We have our ISO downloaded already, so we're going to go ahead and create a VM and VMware Workstation to run this machine. We're going to go with the typical installation. But we're going to say we will install the operating system later. If we select it here, it's going to try to prompt to use the easy install, and we don't want to use that in our case. We'd like to prefer the standard install where we get a bit more control. So we'll select next there, and then we'll manually select our server type. We want it to be Microsoft Windows, and then select Server 2016 from the list. Select next again. And then you can name your machine. So we're going to have this one as Windows Server 2016 Final IT. Select next. It automatically appropriates a good size for the disk, 60 gigabytes. Again, that won't be used entirely by on your disk. It'll kind of be used up as the disk for the VM gets used, so it won't automatically be 60 gigabytes in space that it takes right off the bat. Select next there, and then we might want to customize our hardware a little bit more. So it could run on a little bit less than this, but a good base point for your Windows servers might be 4 gigs of RAM, and then 2 cores for the processors would be good. For our network, we're going to move it over to the bridged option. And then we do want to make sure that we select to use an ISO file. We're going to select our Windows Server ISO file here. It's telling me my ISO's a network location, which is just fine in our case. You may or may not see that prompt, but it's okay to hit accept on it if you know that your network location is valid. And so once we've got that set up, we can start up our VM. We'll start booting it up. Once it starts, you're going to be prompted to hit a key to enter setup. Once it finishes loading, we'll hit next to continue our setup. Then we'll want to install now. Then you'll be presented with a screen where you'll be choosing exactly which operating system you want installed. These are all versions of Windows Server 2016. So in our case, we're going to want the 2016 Standard Evaluation Desktop Experience. That's important because we want to be able to use the desktop on this one. It is also possible to install it without the desktop, which is helpful if you want to use a little bit less resources on a machine, and you'll still be able to manage it remotely using the server management tool that Microsoft allows. That you can either have that on another server or on just a regular desktop. In this case, we're going to install the desktop experience and click Next. Want to accept the license terms. Then choose a custom install. In this case, we're going to be selecting the only disk that's available to install it to. If you have multiple, then you want to make sure you install it to the one that you want the operating system running from. We'll hit Next and it'll begin the installer operation. The system will restart after it finishes the main part of the install, and eventually you'll be greeted by a screen that asks you to set up a password for the administrator account. Alright, we'll go ahead and use the same admin password that we've been using for all of our demonstration videos. Now that we've set that administrator password, we'll want to go ahead and log in with those credentials. So we'll want to click the Control-Alt-Delete button in VMware Workstation, which will let you enter the password. You don't want to actually use the Control-Alt-Delete keybind if you're on your actual keyboard if you're using VMware Workstation, because that will lock your actual computer, not it won't go to the VM that way. So that's why you want to use the built-in button. And now we've connected to our Windows server. We're at our desktop. We can go ahead and allow the PC to be discoverable on the network unless you've got a reason why you don't want it to be. And we'll see that the server manager automatically pops up. We'll be covering how to use the server manager in future videos for doing things like setting up a domain or a DNS server. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you think.